Support for this episode is provided by listeners like you. If you'd like to be a part of the great people keeping this show going, please visit thelancast.com/donate. Welcome to the Lancast. I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Lesser.
I'm Becky Svensson. And I'm Lauren Slesser.
And welcome to the very special Valentine's Day love episode of the Lancast.
Take that out.
Cue the music.
Well, okay, so we've got a lot of things to do this episode. We thought we'd do something interesting here, talk about love and romance and funny stories and advice.
That will be interesting.
From the audience. So let's start this off. We've got, I believe 2 of our members are married. I think. You guys are married, right? Keith and Lauren?
Let me check. Are we?
Are you both still wearing rings?
I'm not.
Oh!
So you're at
I'm
least
wearing my ring.
engaged.
Yes, we're engaged. We've been engaged for 12 and a half years.
I'm semi on the market still, so.
I don't want to be tied down.
Why don't you wear your ring? Is that a very personal question?
I'm very offended that you asked. No, it irritates my finger. My finger looks like I have like poison ivy. It just blisters when I wear my ring, so I don't wear it.
So, on Guy's night, he admitted he'd cut his ring finger off if he cut one of his fingers off. So you wear it as a necklace, though, right?
I do have it on a chain.
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's actually closer to my heart.
It's more like a ball and chain now. Is that what you're saying? Like it weighs your neck down.
Ties me down, but I can hide it.
So let's hear some of these stories about romance within the Slesser household.
Who said anything about romance?
Romance? What? We have 4 kids, man.
Well, they had to come from somewhere.
We
Cold
only
nights.
had sex
Cold
4
nights.
times.
It was because he said he looked pretty.
Oh man. Well, what do you want to start off with, babe?
I don't know. Go ahead. You tell something first, and I'll interrupt.
Tell something
and
first.
I'll interrupt and correct it as you go.
Oh yeah, you're really good at that.
No, that's not how it was.
What should I start off with? Well, back in high school.
Well, okay. Okay. We'll talk about the engagement, how we first got together. We were actually really good friends, like most of high school, and I actually dated a girl that she hooked me up with for most of high school. and then when that didn't work out, we started dating. I think we kind of started dating while she was cleaning my car out for me, so I don't know.
Yeah, when we first hooked up, it was like, wow, this guy is really messy. So I used to go over to his house and clean his room and clean his car out. And
So your love language is service, acts of service.
Sure. I don't know.
no, I think that was just my thing.
I think she's just OCD.
I think I just thought I could change him.
Has that
Been
been
there.
effective?
Yeah, it's not really working.
Not
So.
working. The socks still go wherever they come off.
Oh, that drives me up the wall.
So okay. So here's a romantic story. Okay, we started dating in high school, and then right after high school, I decided to go into like YWAM, Youth with a Mission, missions program or whatever. And it was like a week's notice that I gave her that I was leaving for 6 months.
Oh, by the way, you're really cute, and I'm leaving.
Yeah, it was like New Year's. It was like New Year's Eve. I like decided I was going, and like the following week, it was like the 9th of January. I think I was on a plane on my way out to Colorado, and so we went. That was really tough, and like we made a really stupid mistake of the night before I left watching Shakespeare in Love together, like the movie, and like it ends with like I don't even remember
that.
Shakespeare's like love interest in the movie, like having to leave with the man that she actually married and go like across to Americas, and like he was never going to see her again. And like we watched that movie, and the next day, like I'm on a plane, and we're like saying goodbye. Like,
You're not allowed to date during YWAM either,
to
right?
the other end of the. It wasn't. No,
You weren't too strict about
depends
it.
on the team.
Oh, okay.
Our team wasn't real strict about it, but it didn't really matter. It's not like, I mean, she was like a few thousand miles away from me at the time, so.
I mean, he was totally faithful to you and thought of you every day.
Yeah.
But she sent me this like really cool book while I was out there, and it just had all these like quotes and just different saying. I still have the book, and it had like just different photographs of us together, and she took on Valentine's Day, she sent me like this long like pile of letters and stuff that I think I wrote like a few letters back to her or something like that. I felt really bad, but
Well, you made some cool stuff.
But I did some cool things, but it was kind of like I didn't have a lot of time to sit and do stuff. So, but and she like covered everything with her perfume and everything and stuff.
Whoa.
Wait, okay.
Oh, man.
You can't tell me that you didn't do that in high school. Come on.
I didn't have anyone to write notes to.
Oh.
Man,
So, well, this is out of high school.
But-
This was out.
how many
okay,
times did you
right
sniff
after.
this thing?
But
where you're like,
I had it. I carried. It was the one thing I carried with me all the time. I still have it. It's like all tattered up.
A guy did give me perfume, and it was Yoop, and he was kind of a skater, and so I think he gave me like an MXPX patch and soaked it in his cologne. It's pretty gross.
Did
Yeah,
you
no,
sleep with
we-
it every night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
We had this was I'm trying to think of the cologne. It was Ralph Lauren.
Oh yeah, it was actually a guy's
Romance, I think.
Oh
It
no,
was
did I?
Romance. Yeah, it was the girls one. It was the one that you wore. It was one of the ones you wore.
Yeah.
You were happy,
Alright.
and you wore that one, Romance, I think it was called. It was one of those. So it was like her. It was like smelled like her, obviously. So that was really, that was all romantic. Oh. And also,
smell
I had
you
already
thousands
bought
of
her a
miles
ring
away.
at this point. I had not given it to her yet, and she didn't know that I bought it.
When you went to
for her.
Colorado?
Yeah, before I left, I already had the ring.
Ooh.
I gave it to my mom to like hide it for me and keep, because she was coming over to the house and like
Going through all your
Cleaning your
stuff.
room?
cleaning my room and stuff while I was gone and stuff. So I didn't want to leave it in there and have a chance that she was going to find it. So I gave it to my mom to keep. Instantly enough, I think she hid it in her underwear drawer.
Lauren, did you make your way?
No,
No?
never found it.
So, but funny story is though, then when I got back from Colorado and
Lauren was dating like 4 other guys.
she was dating like
Yeah.
four guys, and I was like, what the hell?
They were lining up.
No,
Just kidding.
I actually I went her dad and I have this like funny relationship when we were dating and stuff. She's the only girl I ever dated that I got kicked out of her house twice.
Good times.
Like literally middle of the night, you leave now, don't come back for
Are we gonna get
He
to
lets
hear
him
why?
stay there now. Yeah.
Well, okay, we weren't really doing anything. I mean, we were
We were
I was
cuddling
at the house late. We
in
were
the
cuddling
dark.
on the couch in the dark.
And it
Oh,
was
no.
really late.
He woke up and he came out and he was like in his bathrobe and came out and he's like, "You need to leave." and then the second time, I think we were out sitting in the driveway out in the car talking, and I guess my cell phone had died or something, and my mom at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm like 19 years old at this point. Okay. We're already graduated from high school, I think, at this point. And my mom calls her house to see where I am and wakes him up. So then again, they come out, he comes out and it's pretty much leave and don't come back for a while.
Wow.
So then when I decided I was going to marry her, and she, like her parents already knew that we were planning on getting married, and like it wasn't like a surprise that we were getting married, but I went and I did the whole asking his permission, and he said yeah, but he said he wanted me to wait a little while, so I waited a week. I waited a week and then I asked her to marry me.
don't think that counts.
Was he pissed?
No, my parents weren't really thrilled.
No, they weren't overly thrilled, but they love me.
They let him stay in the house.
They let
now.
me stay in the house now.
When we go over for dinner.
They don't kick me out anymore.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is when the engagement happened. Then we had dinner at my house or at my parents' place. I mean, I wasn't living on my own yet, and well, because I'd just gotten back from Colorado like not that long before this, and so I was still staying, and so I set up a table and everything out in the backyard. My parents live sort of in the country, so I sat out in the backyard and I made dinner. I don't remember what it was, but I made something.
I think it was chicken and spaghetti. Remember Don Wombolt?
Yeah, that might have been.
Like gave you the recipe.
It's like what every guy makes for.
Don Wombo?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was like
so
a homemade sauce and spaghetti and stuff like that. And then I set it up outside in the backyard, and we set up out there, and then I decided I was gonna ask her or whatever, but I didn't have the ring down there with me, so I had to like excuse myself to go get the ring, and then I had to find it, and that's when I found out it was in my mom's underwear drawer. And so I had to go through my mom's underwear drawer to find the ring, which was...
you were up there like forever.
Yeah, well, it's because I couldn't find it.
I think first he said he needed to use the bathroom, and then he's in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm sitting out there like, what the heck is he doing?
So then I come back out, and we're just sitting there talking, and we just sort of are holding hands at that point, and I just slipped the ring onto her finger.
Oh.
While we're holding hands.
Smooth.
And,
Oh, man. So slick. How could she say no?
You didn't
Ring
even
was on her finger.
Sumptuous, right?
Yeah, you didn't ask. You just told her. We're getting
yeah, it's pretty much like,
Sums up their
You're going with
relationship
me.
pretty
well,
good.
come on. As if there was any doubt that she'd say yeah.
Oh, I know.
So, Lauren, what did you think and what did you say?
Oh, God, that was so long ago. No, I don't know. I mean, I think I was a little surprised, but not surprised that he asked me, but just surprised. I don't know.
She wasn't
I
at that
think
moment.
you
weren't
never
ready for it
really
at that
know
moment.
like how you're going to respond to something like that,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, you start getting all teary.
And then it was the ring. It was the ring that because
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
we were
at
at
an antique shop, like just looking at stuff, and she had just liked this ring a lot. And,
It was. The guy said it was.
It's like 100-year-old. I mean, it was like an antique.
It was
ring.
like from the 1800s,
Right.
and we both really loved history and old
Right.
things, so that was something that we had in common anyway. And then I saw this, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like this. And
But she just really liked the ring. But I went back the next day and bought it. Well, actually, I told the guy after she walked out of the room. I kind of like snuck back in. I think Faye was with us, and she kind of ran
yeah, because
interference.
she bought the other ring for me that I liked.
She
and
ran
gave it to me for my
interference.
birthday
Ran
or something.
interference for me, and then I went and told the guy, "I'll be back tomorrow with the cash. Can you hold this for me?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I went back the next day and bought it, and that was before I went to Colorado. So that was like months and months before. So then I
How did you get the
So
right?
she sold
How did you get the
it.
right size? Like,
No, it was too big.
It
So-
had to be. It had
Yeah,
to
we
be
had to size it
resized.
after.
Yeah, after
I had the
before
same
they
problem.
had taken have it sized. Yeah. So yeah, I'm one for the romantic thing of like surprise. I don't like. I wouldn't have liked going out shopping for a ring together. Like I was kind of more just sort of like randomly we're shopping places, and it just worked out that she had seen this ring and really liked it, and I just kind of was like, I'm gonna get that one, so I can surprise her. When the bride picks out her ring, her engagement ring, it's kind of like, come on. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, but it's good. I don't know.
What if you have really bad taste, though?
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's why you have to be sneaky about figuring out what she likes without.
That was like the first and last time that you were ever sneaky.
Yeah, well,
Aww.
that you
Now
know
I like
about.
schedule. No,
That you
now
know
I
about.
schedule it like, okay, honey, it's a week till Christmas. Are you going to go shopping for me yet? Oh wait, Mother's Day is tomorrow. Do you need to go to the store and get me a
no,
card?
at this point, like this year for Christmas, I think we just pretty much like here's your limit. Go buy what you want.
It's so much easier. Oh my gosh.
Because you have kids to buy for and all that stuff and think about. You don't have time to like really think about like.
Wait. Who buys the gifts for the kids?
She's raising her hands. Yeah. It's funny that you brought up.
I have a job to work to make money to pay for those gifts
Yes.
that she's buying for the kids.
This is so romantic.
I know.
Isn't it? I told you.
It's funny that Don Walbot was in your story because I have whenever I like have dated a girl, I have Don Walbot's voice in the back of my head because in high school,
This is so great. I can't wait to hear
in
what you're
high
gonna
school.
say.
I was dating this girl. And we went on one of the missions trips in youth group, and Don was one of the leaders. We were like swimming around in the pool or something, and we were swimming. I don't remember what we were swimming close.
Naked.
Like we weren't like no. It was a hotel
It was
pool.
a youth group.
There were people there, but we must. I don't remember. Like we must have been swimming too close or being too like googly eyed or whatever. And I remember he came out and he goes, "I didn't have my glasses on." And he's like, "David, let's keep it PG." And I was like, "Sure thing." And I just remember backing away like instantly from her. And now it's always in the back of my head like.
Keep it PG.
With like, it was like, keep PG, David. Got it, Don. Got it. Keep it PG.
Yeah, well, PG today isn't the same as PG back then, though, so you can get away with
true.
it now.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I need to take that into effect when I think about that. It's funny. I don't think I ever told him that, but yeah.
So if you're listening, Don,
Yeah, I just saw
Now
him
you
the other
know.
week. It's cool. It's fun.
So Dave, Lauren and Keith shared romantic things they've done for each other. What is the most romantic thing you've ever done for someone in a relationship?
Okay, so something romantic I did for a girl was, and it was romantic, but it was also like kind of an act of desperation because I was scared that she was gonna run away.
don't say it out loud.
I know, oh my gosh. But I was like, okay, this is going to be really romantic. I'm going to do this. So I had just been in a horrible accident where, like, had things gone slightly different, I would have died. And I was like, when you looked at me, I looked fine, but like underneath, I was just totally black and blue, and like all my bones were bruised and stuff. Like I was in a tremendous amount of pain. I couldn't do, but I looked fine. So to look at me, it was hard to be like, oh, he's messed up. So here I am all damaged. I'm like, we just started dating. I was like, she's gonna not want to date me anymore because like I don't have a car anymore. This is right after high school, and I was like, I don't have a car anymore. I'm all banged up. Like I don't have anything to offer. So I thought, well, I can't afford because I have to buy a new car. I can't afford to take her anywhere like fancy, and I can't afford to like go on any trips, and I can't actually physically take her anywhere. So I was like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite her over and tell her that we're going on a trip. So I told her we were going to have a trip, and I went around to like all the grocery stores, and there was a liquor store nearby, and I got cardboard boxes, and then I got black sheets and stuff, and I had a very small room like that I was renting, and so I took the black sheets and I covered everything in the room with black sheets, and then I used the cardboard to make big palm trees and like beach stuff, and put them all around the room on the walls. And then I went to the pizza place and I got Hawaiian pizza, and she came over and I said,
so
we're going to go to
awesome.
Hawaii. And we sat down and had a candlelight dinner in
Wait,
Hawaii.
did you have like Hawaiian music?
No.
Did you wear a grass
You
skirt?
didn't have Don Ho play.
And then Don came in and said, let's keep it PG, dude. And I was like, God, Don, I got it. So it was effective. Yeah, it was she liked it a lot, and she did not run away because I didn't have anything. So
No, I think
it was fine. Not that she was going to anyway, but it was just a fear.
no. Well, I think that at least like for me back when I was young like that, and you had time to put into making something really personal, like that always meant a lot more to me that somebody spent the time and really thought about it and put their heart and soul into it, as opposed to just like going out and buying something expensive. Mm-hmm. Just to me, that always meant a lot more to me to have something creative, and thoughtful.
I think that's what I was hoping for, that it would get that across, that I was putting work and doing something for her because I wanted to, and that it took time and stuff that,
I feel bad for guys, though, because there's like this invisible line. It's like a ridge. And if the girl already kind of likes the guy, and he does something super thoughtful and time consuming, it's just like, oh my gosh, he's so great. And if you don't really like him and he does something that's time consuming and over the top, it's like,
That's so creepy.
He's so
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah. That could have been a really creepy
That's
situation,
true.
you're right?
so,
That is true.
so she liked you already.
Yeah. I should have had faith. How about you, Becky? Have you ever had something romantic you've done, or a story or something?
Well, Dave, I don't have any romantic stories that I would like to share at this time because I assume all of my exes are avid Lancast listeners.
As they should be.
They just miss me and they just want to
they're trying
recapture
keep tabs
that.
On you.
Exactly. That's what
all
Facebook
her
is for.
ex-boyfriends are now stalkers.
I don't think that ever happened.
That's a lovely thought right there.
But I thought I could tell the story of my first kiss, and I think I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I grew up at this Christian retreat center out in the Poconos. So a totally small community, very insular, and very few young single men in the 6 to 7 to 8 year old, age range coming through that very often. So one of the only sources for new blood was, that sounds
Getting
so
better
bad.
and better.
Was
6-year-old were you?
Was he
I
sparkly?
was strategic. I was strategic. No. It was the opposite. He came after me. He wooed
okay.
me. So
He wooed
At 6 years old, it must be pretty intense.
there was this missionary counseling center very near my house. I was kind of related to the Christian Retreat Center. And I remember that we used to go up there and hang out with families that were coming off the mission field for 4 or 5 months. And I think often their parents needed serious counseling. So it was a time for them to just chill and be very quiet and restful. But their kids were bouncing off the walls. And we're just so happy to have American playmates and normal toys and playgrounds and stuff. So I remember sitting in this room, and I don't even remember this kid's name. Isn't that sad? Wow. We can call him Steven.
That's actually his name.
Steven.
It's like the name that everyone inserts.
I know.
I really
Steven.
wonder what he's doing. Facebook me. Available. So he was really kind of, aggressive, and I initially didn't like him until he showed interest in me. So it totally highlights that principle that girls might not consider someone until a guy shows interest in her, and then she's like, well, now wait a minute. And then she can totally, and then often she'll end up even falling harder for him than he did for her. It's a twisted cycle. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we were sitting and we were watching probably some Hanna-Barbera, Moses show.
PG. PG, Becky.
PG.
Sorry. Well, this is a story about a kid. Anyway, so he comes up behind me and totally just from right behind me, 180, just turns my face and kisses me right in the mouth. And I'm
so great.
horrified. And my memory, that sweet memory has been taken from me by this little 9-year-old missionary boy. But it's really funny to think about how I started to like him after that because he showed interest in me.
So he snuck up on you, grabbed you from behind.
Not consensual. Not consensual at all.
man.
Oh, this is horrible.
Actually, Keith used to do that to girls too.
Yeah, when I was in kindergarten.
Like last
and
week.
stuff. Yeah, like last week.
Last week.
I walk up to girls, push them down,
Ew.
kiss them.
No, didn't you say
I
in
used
kindergarten?
to do that when I was in preschool. I used
You
to
would
do that
chase them all around
I'd
the
chase
playground.
around in the nursery and stuff like that. I just walk up to a girl, I'd push her over, and I'd kiss her.
That's really cute.
See, I
Even
could
though that's
totally
also
see
not
Jake
consensual.
doing that.
What's that?
I could totally see Jake doing that.
Jake
That's
probably.
kind of scary.
Yeah. Well,
There's
he,
that.
Jake is our son.
yeah. He reminds
Jake
me a lot
also
of
has
me.
a crush on Becky, though, so
Yes,
you
that's
better
true.
watch out. He might
Hey,
push
Jake.
you down and kiss
He
you.
may try. He may try and take you
He's
down.
not 6 yet, Becky. You gotta wait a little
You have
while.
to
You
wait.
have to wait a little bit. He's not 6
After
years
age
old.
plus 7. It's going to be a
only
long
3.5.
time. So anyway, the funny part though about that story is, we didn't have a lot of toys. I was freaked out by the concept of playing with dolls. And so when I wasn't just reading, I would just stand in front of the mirror and tell stories and be a part of those stories and talk to not imaginary friends. I don't know what. So my mom was pretty creeped out for most of my early childhood. But I specifically remember standing there telling the story as a mother to my future daughter, telling her the story of how I met her father and how he snuck up behind me and gave me a kiss.
Oh my god.
And so I was
And you were 6?
Yeah. I was putting myself in the shoes of like a 35-year-old woman.
It's
in the future.
hilarious.
So, you know, I
can understand
totally
why your
liked
mom
him.
was worried.
It was creativity.
Oh, man.
So that's the story of my first kiss.
Well, we heard all about marriage stuff. You guys have any questions about what it's like for dating? Since Becky and I are
Dating in the
out there on
21st
the
century.
scene.
Yeah, right.
Since we haven't done it for
Seriously.
like
Yeah.
A long
12
time.
years.
Yeah.
If I were a single guy, what would you recommend?
I would recommend you turn girls around and you kiss them.
Sneak up,
Tackle them.
sneak up behind them,
And
take
then
them
you kiss
down.
That works every time.
That's what a woman wants, right? She wants to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
forced into a relationship.
All the time.
Are you disturbed? Come on. You're disturbed with me. She didn't
I
even
just
skip
pretend
a
like
beat.
I don't know him
So,
when he
so
starts
I
saying
go in,
things.
so it's still like Sean Connery style, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
Oh, no.
It also helps
no,
with the
no, no, no,
telepathy.
no.
That's
Target.
what people say is going on in that Gustav Klimt painting, you know, the kiss that everyone loves and thinks is so beautiful. You know, it's like gilded,
Yeah.
and it's a woman like kissing, or a man kissing a woman on the cheek. Apparently, like all of
He's
his
sneaking
most
up
famous
behind
paintings are scenes of rape.
What?
Sad.
Oh, I didn't study
Well, that was
art
romantic.
history enough.
Sorry,
did
I
I?
really brought the love show down.
Wow. So.
No means no.
That's your
No
advice?
means no.
Not to Sean
Keith.
Connery, it doesn't.
Yeah, not to Sean.
When you're Sean Connery, everything has a different meaning.
Okay, David, what's your best dating story ever since...
What do you mean
wanna-
best? I just told you, like,
Is that the best one
one
you
of
have?
my most romantic times ever.
Well, what about speed dating? You did that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have not yet... No, wait.
Not yet.
Let me rephrase that.
Well,
I have
now.
not had
Hey,
the experience
Keith?
of speed dating.
Lauren wants to go speed dating. You
Hey,
just have to
you
be
know,
okay with
that's
that,
fine.
right?
That's fine. I don't care.
Well, maybe if we both went together.
And see if you're perfect
You know,
match.
Just
I
see if we
have
could
actually,
find-
I've often thought in the back of
Often?
my,
Often?
No,
often. No. I've often in the back of my head thought, like, I would love for us to both open up an eHarmony account and just see if it matches us.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
Or creepy?
It could get
and then
messy.
when it doesn't match us, to be like, oh man.
Oh, bummer.
All right, honey, I have a date this night, this weekend. Sorry.
Compatibility is...
According to eHarmony, we are not compatible.
I feel obligated now. I'm sorry.
I don't want to lead this girl on.
I need to go in there and turn.
Yeah. I have been speed dating, and it's an interesting concept.
Was it fun?
Yeah, but it's also exhausting. You're done, and you're just like, it's like taking so much information. You get 3 minutes, and you talk to 30 girls, and so it's like
It's a lot.
everyone. It's like a new slate, so you've got to remember like different things. And at the end, they're like, "Which one did you like best?" I'm like, "I don't remember."
The one that
was
said
who.
this, and I don't remember.
You gotta
Wait.
take notes.
Do you each get to
dude.
talk?
Yeah.
So, what,
It's-
is there
it's
like
a-
a time clock? Like,
It's somebody like there's the person running it has like they keep track of time, and then they're like switch, and then when I was doing it, the ladies all stayed in place and the guys moved. So then they're like, okay, time up, and then like you have to get up and move to the next person, and the girl stays there. And you have a paper, you're supposed to write things down and like take notes, but I found that difficult. I like to be a more attentive listener, so
right.
for me to write things down like while they're talking takes like I have trouble listening and writing down like my
You must
thoughts.
need like a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Like, note to
Review
self.
later. I need an hour and a half after it's over to make my decision.
14.
Yeah, number 14. Yeah. So, well, the reason for the paper is so you can write and they don't see it, so they could be writing stuff about you too. The girl and the guy both have to. They both talk.
You'd be like, creepy.
Yeah, that was basically. I went around and I just gave them like a card that said creepy, and I was just like, tape this on your.
Please tell me you didn't do that.
No, I didn't. And it was good. I mean, I had most girls were really nice, and then there was a couple that were like really weird, and you just like you sat down, and I was trying to. There was like a strand of 3 girls that are probably great people, but they just were very odd and very weird, like in personality and weird looking.
Oh, come on.
And I don't want to be mean, but like a lot of the guys are being total douches to these girls. Like some of them were not even engaging them. They just sat there and they didn't talk to them for 3 minutes. Yeah. And so there was like 3 of these girls in a row. It's not like they were staggered, in the group or anything. So that's 9 minutes you have of like having to be in a date situation with someone you don't want to you probably wouldn't talk to.
Ugh.
So I wanted to be like polite. I pretty much wound up with all these girls' numbers on my thing, and I was like, I wasn't trying to convey that. I just didn't want you to be like, I just didn't want to be a douchebag.
You're just a nice guy. You're just a nice guy, Dave.
Guy.
So,
Well,
but
I'm glad that you said that you were nice to them, because otherwise I would have punched you after the show.
during the
Why
show,
wait?
Mark.
Actually, you're right. I would have just punched you right now.
They were like, the thing was is that they're probably fine people. It's just that they, like, in that situation they were very awkward, and
What?
it was difficult.
Yeah.
After 9 minutes I was like, whew. So
I mean, no, it's been, like I said, a while since I've been on a date, but
like a month and a half.
Yeah. No, I hated that about dating, like, just random people, because, like, kind of like Becky said, you, at least for me, like, you can kind of tell right off the bat whether you're going to click with somebody on any level, and there's some people that you click with enough that you can carry on a conversation and stuff, but it just still feels very forced. But if the other person feels like they really connect to you, and then you're just not really into it, it's not like there's anything wrong with the person. I mean, but that happened to me, where this guy was totally into me, and he was a couple of years older, which at the time was sort of a big deal. Like, now, 3 years wouldn't be that big of a deal, but in high school it was like, I'm dating this older guy. Anyway, he took me out, and then, like, right away he wanted me to agree that I would go out again, or like that we'd continue dating, and I knew the whole time that it wasn't gonna work out, And so I felt like I was being...
She was already in love with me.
I didn't
at
want
that
to
point,
lead him
so.
on. And I was interested in Keith, but we weren't official at that point. So, but either way, like, I didn't want to lead him on if I already knew. But I felt like he made me feel like a total jerk. And so then I was just like, I hate dating.
in certain situations, especially like in the speed dating situation, I feel someone's putting themselves out there, and like you're already there, like they deserve enough respect for you to be like
Absolutely.
cordial. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you may not want to see them again, but you shouldn't be like a dick. You should just be nice.
We can say that on the show.
Sure.
Okay, cool, keep going.
There's no syndication here. We can say whatever.
You say whatever you want. It's like
Lab
the 10th Throne
structures.
episode.
How do you feel about that?
yeah, the 10th throw. I said, well, we try not to swear, but if you guys do, we don't care. And the guy's like, oh, fuck yeah.
Literally what happened.
And I was just like, there are other words in the English language that you can use. I mean, you use it as a noun, an adjective.
I think it was somebody's name.
Ly.
Somebody's name.
I've never heard that phrase used as an adverb. Ly. 8 parts of speech, baby.
Let's work on actually coming up with a sentence where that works later.
I want a sentence that is still a legitimate sentence, but is 90% F word.
No.
Please be looking in the show notes.
It's like bison.
Show notes.
You can do that with bison. You can have a whole sentence that's just the word bison. It's like 7 words. Isn't that crazy?
So Becky.
Back to love.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So I wanted to
Somewhat
ask
related.
Becky. Well, I don't know how much you're in the dating scene right now, but what would you say is your favorite place in Lancaster to go on a date?
Oh.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Well,
She's always
No, I
telling
didn't
me.
say what your favorite is, David.
No, she's always like, I wish a guy would just take me to Chuck E.
Oh my
Cheese.
God.
You'll find him,
that
Becky.
would be awesome. I would love Chuck E. Cheese. Maybe Dave & Buster's would be nicer because like stuff is made for people our size.
People your size, and
And
you'll
it
have
still
like
works.
the kids' parents fighting.
I haven't gone on that many dates in Lancaster, and 2 of them, I haven't dated that many people in Lancaster, like from here. So some of them are out of town, and so 2 guys I didn't know very well looked up, I think, what they wanted to think of as like one of the nicest places in Lancaster. So they took me to the press room, but I was like, shoot, I was just here. But that was still nice because, I mean, I might be really old-fashioned, but I appreciate a first date that's not like you're not sure if it's a date or not. So you're like, yeah, let's just go get coffee. Yeah, sure. Here's my number. Text me. Like, don't ask me out of a text. I don't know. So I always like when it's dinner and it's clear that like this is
You're
a
on
date.
a date, yeah.
But I don't need it to be a place that nice. So
Food's really good there, though.
McDonald's
Oh,
is
for
okay,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the second place she's always saying.
She likes
It's like,
Mickey D's down
Mickey
down
D's.
Street
I
there.
love those.
She likes the little
And
place.
chocolate
Sundays.
It has to be one that has. It has to be one that has the play area. Though.
Wherever we go, it has to end with E's.
Geronimo! Ball pit.
I don't think they do ball pits anymore, which I'm really depressed about because I love ball pits.
That's what she said.
Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I totally set myself up for that.
Becky, have you done the speed dating scene? They asked me about it. Have you done it?
Yes, I have tried speed dating. It was a very different experience than Dave's, which was at Comic-Con, for those of our listeners who don't remember that.
And
Televised.
it's televised. So if anyone wants to know
Lucky
how
you.
David did on his speed dating, you can check it out.
You see the archives. You had that on the show, right?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, my experience was very different. It was by invite only. It was in a friend's barn that was like flipped for weddings and stuff. They had food and wine, and so everyone was kind of pre-screened, and they all were connected.
Pre-screen, make sure there was
Which
no.
is really nice.
Okay, so
Given the
you
fact-
liked that.
Well, yeah, so one of the negative parts about this is I continue to see guys around town, and like, I'm not very good with that. I'm not very good at, hey, this didn't work out, but let's still hang out and be best friends. Like, no. So I usually just kind of, don't really talk to people after I've gone on dates with them. So, but it was really fun. It was a funny experience for me because I was really nervous. I was especially nervous about being original and not like sitting down with someone and being like, what do you do? What do you want to do? Where are you going to be in 5 years? And people were more chill about that. But a friend of mine gave me this big pep talk beforehand, and she told me what to wear, and like everything was very well orchestrated, and I knew I wasn't gonna have to stand up because I'm taller than most guys, so I stayed seated, and I was just worried about so many little details. But she gave me this pep talk and was like, look, Becky, even if you're nervous, you're just gonna forget about that, and you are going to honor the image of God in every single person who sits down in front of you. How do you argue with that? Like, okay, David, I'm gonna honor the image of God in you. Like,
Yeah, you are.
whatever. I mean, your personhood, your
devil,
humanity,
though,
whatever. He's
You
a lady
saw the
killer.
pictures I drew? Devil, he's got horns on.
Aw, David.
Why is it my fault that he draws me like that? Oh, David,
You're the one that always wears red.
I'm disappointed
David is
in
a
you.
victim. Anyway, so I went to this thing and I was really nervous and really, really, really open. I'm usually pretty picky, but every person seemed nice. I had absolutely no, like, here's a question you need to ask. Where have you traveled? You haven't been out here or there? Sorry. No, I was totally, not discriminating in my taste. So I said yes to way more people than I probably should have. And I left with, no lie, like 12 matches or something.
Wow.
And then later on, I was
you
like,
were busy
oh my
for a
gosh,
while.
I don't want to go out with all these guys. So I went
my
on 3
gosh.
dates. And they were funny experiences.
You didn't have a perfect match thing at the end?
What does that mean?
Like,
If someone picks you and you pick them.
yeah, like, for us, for when I did it, like, the guys went and sat down, and then it was perfect match. So if the guy had written on the girl's paper, and the girl had written on the guys or whatever, like, then the girls were supposed to, like, go to their perfect match, and then they were supposed to sit down and set up a date with that person right away.
I had 10 perfect matches.
Wow.
Like, those were just the
Jesus.
mutual ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
Well, you could have more than one, but the whole idea was, like, whoever got to you first was, like,
Okay. That would be nerve-wracking.
yeah,
The whole experience was really nerve-wracking.
yeah.
Okay, so here's a question then. Is it still expected, or like when you go on a date, do you expect that the guy's going to pay?
Oh, it depends. I wouldn't rule it out if he didn't or anything. If we talk about it, that's awkward. So I usually offer to, just because I think it's kind of rude to assume not, but
Because I didn't know if
Well,
if it has changed.
I always assume if
you're
I
60
Right,
years
and we-
old.
And we have a
Seriously.
joint account,
No, no,
so
no.
it doesn't really matter who pays.
But I mean, seriously though, like I think when we were in school, there was sort of the assumption that the guy was expected to pay. And I think that in the last,
I would assume that.
In the last decade, my personal opinions about that have changed dramatically. Like, I don't feel that that's necessarily the guy's responsibility. I mean, it's nice. And I guess, like, there's still, so it's just, I'm just curious for you, like, if that's something that,
usually, like, if you establish up front that this is dating, we're not just hanging out and getting to know each other, that's one nice way to show this is actually a date.
The guy
so
pays.
I appreciate when in the beginning somebody pays, but I'm fine if they don't. I had a weird experience with one guy who made this huge deal about paying. He was like, look, here's my policy. I will never let a girl pay for the first date. Never. I'm like, great. Cool. He's like, I want you to know that you're a lady.
But you have to pay for every date after.
He's like, he's like, even the second
had, like,
date,
a prepared
even
speech.
the second date, I am not going to let you pay. Now, on third date, if you fight me, you know, we'll talk. It's like, okay, super clear.
so you're assuming that we're going to get to the third
Like, he
date.
asked me, we had like a marathon date, and he asked me to pay for the third element of it. Anyway. So that just was like going back on what he said, and just talking about it so much made it awkward. But once you're in a relationship, yeah, you just pick up the tab and you take turns and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. As a guy, like, I just assume for the first couple whiles it's on you.
Yeah. I think it's different when you're
On the
in your
girl or
20s
on
and you have a
the
job versus
As
you're
a
in
guy,
high
I
school
assume
or
it's on
college.
you.
I assume that I'm getting taken out. I mean, come on, seriously.
You're gonna have to
You don't
wine
get
and dine
prize
me.
stock for nothing.
Yeah, that's right. You got to pay for this, ladies.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I wanna. Here's a question from the audience from. Well, let's just call him David. And,
Let's just call him David.
yeah, let's just call him
That
David.
be you?
No,
Do you listen to your own show, David?
Well, he does edit it.
I do edit it, so I usually listen to it several times. So here's a question from the audience from quote unquote David, if that's
Okay.
his name. Who
All right.
knows? Does in today's society, does the guy always have to be the one to initiate things?
No.
Has it become socially acceptable for the girl? Because
Yes.
it feels it feels to me like it's all on the guy. But like I don't know, you don't really hear a lot of stories of the girl.
I think it
before.
depends on the people, but like, I don't think it needs to be the guy that initiates. I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like paying kind of thing too. But I think, now if the girl initiates, I think she should pay for the date. But
Really?
if she asks him out, she asks him out. What if he doesn't really want to go?
He's just in it for a cheap dinner.
Wouldn't he
doesn't wanna be a dick.
just say he didn't want to go?
But no, no, I don't, because I think there are guys out there that are probably more shy, and girls and guys who may like a woman that's more, I don't know,
Forward?
with the date. And so in that situation, because of the personality wise, it makes more sense for the girl to be the one to initiate because she has the more forward personality.
Right.
But
you know,
David's Mr. Personality, so...
No,
Right.
I've been asked. I mean, I've had it the other way around. It's usually surprising. It catches me off guard. I'm not used to it.
but
Not that it happens all the time. But
I
it's
don't
happened.
think it's
Did it happen today?
Talk about it later, all right?
How many times?
David.
It's happened. It's probably happened.
What are you doing
like
after
twice
this?
afternoon.
Today? Wow, you're on a roll, man.
It's happened like twice, and it's been
Right.
Well, it's cool, but
for me, like I don't know, like I was always such a flirt. So like when I always like ended up on I am a
Yeah,
flirt.
yes, you are.
So I've ended up on dates already.
after you were married.
Right, well, after I was married, not intending to be on these dates, but then I'm just kind of like, I feel obligated.
I
So
thought we were just getting coffee. I didn't know what was happening. This is weird.
Hey, babe, I'm going to be a
I have
little
to
late
go through
coming
with
home.
it. I thought this was okay. No, but I've ended up like sort of, like you said about you go on a date, it's like you're on a coffee, you don't know for sure if it's a date, but it's a date, kind of thing, and it's
It's a date if it goes well for the guy. It's not a date. You're like, oh, it was just coffee.
yeah, okay.
But if it was a date, it's like, yeah, we went for coffee.
Yeah, that's true. It can kind of like, when you make it more casual like that, you can, it allows for more shifting. Like,
Allows
if
for-
it didn't go well, then we can just
allows
pretend
for more escape plans.
well, yeah. It's a little more.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, my wife called.
You want to come over?
Okay. Let's get to another question.
I have a question from one of our listeners. Dear men of the Lancast, oftentimes men share about their fears of rejection from women they approach, but women can share this fear as well. As a new relationship starts to develop and women try to understand a guy's intentions towards them, there's a lot of guesswork involved. As old-fashioned men living in the modern age, how would you advise women to deal with feelings of rejection in the early stages of dating? I even worry that you're going to reject this letter. Sincerely, fearful yet hopeful.
Oh, this is like Dear Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And David, don't say "suck it up," okay? Because that's just not going to work.
Don't say "suck it up." No, okay. So let me understand the question. At the beginning of something, they're not sure if they're getting rejected. Was that the question, or is it after?
Yeah, I was a little confused. Are they asking the person out and being rejected, or is it they've already been asked out and now they're not sure what the intentions are?
I think it's for the early stages of something when you're like hanging out, your coffee dates. I'm going to take
really
you out.
Officially dating. It's
yeah,
kind of,
and
okay.
so how does a girl, allow herself to put herself out there and know that things could not go the way she wants?
Okay, well, first off, statistically speaking,
Let me see this chart.
Wait.
Pull out the chart.
remember,
Let me just pull
85%
this
of all
out of my
statistics are
ass.
made up on the spot. This could be one of those. No, but I think more often than not, I think the guy is interested in it being romantic, and the girl's not. Seriously, I think it's more. I think it's more often that you're hanging out, going on your coffee dates, and the guy is kind of going along the lines of like, oh, she's into me, this is like a date thing, and the girl's kind of like, oh no, we were just friends. More often than like the other way around, where the girl's like going the other way, and the guy's like, oh wait, we were just friends. But not to say that doesn't happen. I don't know. The advice with that is just you have to be. I don't know. I think you need to be clear, and with your intentions and kind of just, guys, at least me and definitely David, are kind of dense when it comes to like the hints. when it comes to hints that girls try to drop. So like dropping hints about something, that you want, if you want it to go, is probably not the best way to go. And because the guy's probably gonna miss them.
Well, this is what goes through the guy's head. They hear the hint and they're like, "Was that a hint?" And then you're like, "No, was it? Or am I just thinking that?"
Well, because I've had plenty of times where I thought I was getting hints and then I wasn't really, and so and so it's kind of like, for me anyway, I kind of ignore them a lot of times because I'm just kind of like, nah, that's not, I don't want it because of the fear of rejection. The other way, you're kind of like, yeah. So I think being very clear with your intentions and what you think could happen with the relationship, with the understanding of, trying to find out where they're at. Like, is this something you think we can go for, kind of, and not like, not even now I get hints dropped and I miss them.
Well, we talked on Guys Night about how I'm totally oblivious to the hints. Yeah. Like, even when they're not so much hints as direct.
Yeah.
Direct things.
As
incredibly direct.
Like, hey, you want to come over?
And spend the night.
My brother's not in town.
That was literally what happened, and I was like, I have plans.
What?
Maybe some other time.
I have plans.
Yeah, I totally didn't. Yeah, anyway.
Dune. Wait, is that in movie form yet?
Dune.
You can just read aloud from the book.
It's movie form. I'll have you know.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about that. I mean, I think Keith is right that generally, like, a guy's probably more open to things going romantic than a girl is in that situation. But a lot of times, he could be on the verge too, where it could go either way, and he is just as much wading through the what is this kind of situation, and it just needs clarification. So I would encourage our listener or anybody in this situation to speak up. And I mean, you don't have to be, this isn't like a suck up and say something as much as it is just like if you're feeling confident that this is something that you want to go through with, or somebody that you're interested in exploring your feelings for more, you should just say something.
Make your intentions.
Make it. And as a girl, I think you have less to fear of than like a guy does, because guys can like assume that all women want them. So, it's just like, we're always assuming like,
I can just throwing the feelers out there, and any woman that's like fights, we're like, oh yeah.
So, but no, seriously, if a girl's just, even
then
if
go
the
fishing with a
intentions
net.
are, like, you don't have to come out and be like, I really like you or anything. You can just be like, so, what's going on here? Are you think maybe, are we going to start going on a date or something? Like, you don't have to be like, I really like you. Just ask.
That
and I bet
would probably be the voice I use.
Yeah. That's actually how I
and
always
at that point
confess.
I would go, wow. I call my wife.
I'm usually talking to a
So
girl
many infidelity
in my
jokes.
normal voice. And I'm just like, so, you want to go out again?
It's your smoker voice.
If you bring that up and the guy realizes that's like the boom, this is a direct answer, and the guy will be like, yeah. I mean, and if he's not, so, you have to decide if you're okay with just being friends. That happens
It's
too.
interesting that you guys, I don't know what as a woman you're thinking, Lauren, but when you say, well, usually the guys are ready to go and the girls just don't like the guys, but because I feel like there are a lot of instances, even among my single girlfriends, who get kind of led on by these guys, and then they think it's going somewhere, and then eventually they'll finally like get up the nerve to be like, what's going on here? And the guy's like, oh my gosh, whoa, I'm so sorry you got that idea. I think you're great.
Those guys are lying.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm just really not at that place in my life right now.
Really?
Okay, yeah, there's
I'm not
definitely
in my-
with the
oh,
guys.
man.
With the guys, I think it's probably more of it would probably be more of a further in the relationship that they would break it off. Yeah, because they would be like, well, I'm not quite ready to like
Yeah.
lock
Those
up
guys
with
are
just,
users.
right? But those guys are players. Though.
It's like
you
it's
don't want
weird.
them
It's like
anyway.
emotional.
Yeah.
Like they like to have emotional girls on the line.
Yeah, they like to have those girls nearby because it's like having a relationship without a relationship.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it gets close, I'm like, I'm sorry, I think you're really cool. And then you never hear from them again.
But all my tougher girlfriends, I'm proud of them. They're like, well, okay, let me tell you about all the mixed signals you gave me. And then they like list out all the times
good for
when they're like,
them.
when you did this, when you called me at 3 a.m. and you needed to talk to somebody, yeah, you don't do that to a girl that you're not interested in. When you invited me or when you paid for that and when you did that, like, and then usually the guys are like, oh my gosh, I am not a man.
They
So,
cry
No,
for weeks.
I think too, like, sometimes people are so afraid of offending, or I don't know if offending is the right word, but you just, like, it's scary to put yourself out there. But at the same time, like, if I was gonna date somebody and I didn't feel comfortable enough to be totally honest with them, then I think that would be a red flag to me right away. If I didn't feel like I could say, where do we stand, or what are your intentions with this, then to me that would be a signal that maybe this isn't a good idea. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not like I have tons of experience or that I've dated tons of people, but like that was kind of my standard, because I think I'm more naturally a forward person. Like I do say what's on my mind, as Keith has found out. He says that's why he loves me, because he never has to guess.
It is. It's also why I hate her.
Yeah.
that's what they say.
I
The thing
know,
you like
it
most
is.
about someone is also the thing. It's
Very
very
true.
crazy.
And I am very guilty of that. But anyway, for me, like, if I right away knew that I didn't feel comfortable being honest, then I just kind of steered away from that and looked for people I could have relationships with where I felt like I could be myself. Because I that's never fun. Like, when you, I don't know, like, it might, to feel like you have to pretend or to go along with something, and you're not really sure, like, to me that's not even fulfilling. It's just sort of a waste of time. I mean, in any relationship, really. But
I think it's harder for guys to do the opposite, though, to like, in the situation that the person writing it had written about. Like, it's more difficult for a guy to be like, hey, where's this going, than it is for a girl. Because with a guy, like, in my experience, a lot of girls get weirded out, and then they're just like, they don't understand that you can still be friends. Like, kind of.
Okay.
They're like,
So they
everything
take
he
it-
does from this point on is just to convince me that
Oh.
that he's, worth it or whatever.
But then, maybe it's not the right relationship.
Exactly. So, anyway, so moving on to our next write-in. This one was for Keith directly, and it says, the writer says, I've never written to you before, but I really need your advice on what could be a crucial decision.
David, are you writing me a question again?
I am. I've suspected for some time now that my wife has been cheating on me. The usual signs. Phone rings, but if I answer, the caller hangs up. My wife has been going out with the girls a lot recently, although when I ask their names, she always says, just some friends from work. You don't know them. I always stay awake to look out for her taxi coming home, but she always walks down the drive. Anyway, I have never approached the subject with my wife. I think deep down I just didn't want to know the truth. But last night she went out again, and I decided to really check on her. I decided I was going to park my BMW R11 550 GS motorcycle next to the garage.
Oh yeah, it's David.
And then, yeah, it's totally me. And then hide behind it so I could get a good view of the whole street when she came home. It was at that moment, crouched behind the bike, that I noticed that the valve covers on my engine seemed to be leaking a little oil. Is this something I can fix on my own, or should I take it back to the dealer?
I know where that question came from. Because I heard it before.
Are you gonna answer?
You should take it back to the dealer.
Okay. All right. Good.
Is that from Car Talk?
Yes, it is.
That is so great.
Actually, it's from Dear Abby. But
They talked about it on Car Talk, though.
I love that show.
all right. So moving on to a legitimate question. This one's for the ladies. In my creepy voice.
Thanks for that. Wait, do the gravelly voice.
The lady.
See? Devil.
That's
I told
Devil.
you.
You want to take this to
What a great guy.
Whenever I get serious, I pop that voice on. I really like your hair.
That turns me on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Works for Barry White, but
All right. Okay. This is for the ladies. I have a problem that may or may not be an actual problem and is probably easy to solve, but asking friends for answers gave me nothing but contradictory answers. So I thought maybe you could help me. I'm young, in college, and I just started dating one of my friends. It's great. I've known him for a long time. We share interests. We're comfortable together. Butterflies are in full effect, etc. The only problem is I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never dated anyone before, and I'm 21. I don't really have any girlfriends I could ask, and I'm not comfortable asking my mom. So I'm essentially fumbling my way through the dark without a flashlight or roadmap. When do you move in for a kiss? What are the milestones? What does and does constitute PDA? What about gift giving? Is there etiquette for that? Will our shared group of friends be uncomfortable about our dating? How do I get over feeling shy about asking him this stuff? How should I feel about this guy anyway? I have experience with crushes, but not with a mature adult relationship, and how that actually feels. The cumulative effect of all this is that while I really enjoy spending time with him, I spend the time we're not together panicking about what I might be doing right or wrong. Is there any kind of relationship for dummies guide for people like me? Sincerely, Confused in Canada.
Oh, honey.
Canadian, eh?
Oh,
I
man,
would
that's
say
a loaded question right there.
She should get some girlfriends. Because it's not really that great to not have girlfriends. I mean, it's cool if you're more of a guy's girl and you have a lot of guy friends, but I think it's important to have people that you can talk through that stuff with who aren't your mom. So that's my step one.
Get some girlfriends.
Lauren?
Get some Yeah, well, like one of the things that I thought of right away is where are you at in your life and what do you do for work? What do you do? Like, what type of people do you hang out with? Because I think, like, as far as what's appropriate for public display of affection and those kinds of things. Like, you sort of have to determine how you would feel if somebody else... I always try to look at it from, like, how I would feel if I was watching somebody else do it. Or, like, what makes me feel uncomfortable, or what impressions... No, seriously. What impressions do I get when I see other people doing things in public, or...
Like Keith turning girls around and kissing them.
Yeah. Like, that's just... Get a room.
Well, now that I have your permission,
I
I will.
don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. No, I mean, I guess that's honestly, like, the way that I've sort of navigated my life, because I think I felt similarly. Like, I had a lot of crushes in school and stuff, but I didn't have a lot of dating experiences before I hooked up with Keith. So
you guys just hooked up?
We just hooked up, yeah.
Everything I know I learned from him. No. No, wow. I mean, but I just try to think, what impressions do I get of other people?
I don't know. There's a joke there. Keith and I are looking at each other. We're like, there's something here.
But I'm not going there. I'm refraining from
Back to Lauren.
I mean, Becky, do you think that's good advice? Like, I just try to think, what impressions do I get of other people when they have certain, like, in the way that they act and the way that they carry themselves, and is that professional? Like, are you, is the type, like, if you're a server at a restaurant, for instance, you might want to be more like Miss Personality, and you might might do better having more of, like, that flirty kind of personality and being a little bit more open and that sort of thing. So then that might be okay but if you work for, I don't know.
But she already has a man.
No, she does. Yeah. I know, but she seems to be, like, not sure how to act in public, or how, you know what I mean? And she's always worried about it seems like she's worried about her image, or how he might take it. Gift giving?
Yeah, that was one of the
like
questions. Should she shower him with gifts? Or is it inappropriate?
Oh, God.
I think she should figure out, like, it sounds really cheesy, but I'm a big believer in the love languages. So figure out what he likes to get. Is it, like, attention with you, something that has very low, like, monetary value, but involves a lot of time, or really a lot of thoughtfulness? Or does she like, give me a bracelet? Or does he like, give me a watch? So just, like, don't freak out so much. Don't panic when you're not with him, because you should be thinking about other stuff. Just get to know them, and, like Lauren said, like, even with relating to the rest of the friend group or whatever, yeah, don't be completely lost in each other, so that the people around you would hate to be with you.
Exactly. You don't want to make other people feel awkward.
Just chill out, girl.
Sound advice. So, Keith in Canada, there you go.
Thanks. Wait. Why'd I ask that question? I taught her everything she knows.
Yes! Yeah. There was a joke there. We just had to wait.
I know. I just step right into those things.
There was like this long hallway, and you were like, let me walk down this hallway and open all the doors for you a while.
I'm pretty guilty
just
of
follow
it.
behind me.
That's why I'm the writer, because I can reread what I wrote 15 times before I post it.
Well, all right. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed this special edition of the Lancast, this love episode.
We are all so sexy.
Where did that come from?
I mean, we are.
You're right, we are.
We are.
We are.
I'm saying we aren't.
Yeah, wow. Anyway, if you want to get in touch with us and send us letters in case we do this again, please do at feedback@thelancast.com, or leave a comment on Facebook or on thelancast.com for this post. So anyway, that's about it.
And
I'm David Moulton.
If you want to ask David out on a date...
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Cut that out. That's great.
His phone number is.
Sorry. I missed you up.
So for the Lancast, I'm David Moulton.
And I'm Keith Slesser.
I'm Becky Svensson.
And I'm Lauren Slesser.
Thanks a lot.
We hope you've been enjoying the Lancast.
This episode was produced by myself, David Moulton, with show notes by Keith and Lauren Slesser.
All pertinent links to this episode can be found in the show notes at thelancast.com.
If you specifically liked this episode, we ask that you consider making a donation.
Every little bit helps. Even $1 a show can keep us going.
If you'd like to help support us, you can do so by going to thelancast.com/donate.
And don't forget to subscribe in iTunes and tell a friend about the show.
So, for the Lancast, I'm David Moulton,
And I'm Keith Slesser.
asking, are you in the cast?
David, I love you.
I know. I've always known.
We've all always known.
Wait. No.